Shunryu Suzuki Roshi was a 20th century Buddhist monk and author. He is the author of a very famous text called Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. And he once wrote these words: "Life is like stepping into a boat that is about to sail out to sea and sink. If you delivered that line in a Zen comedy club, it would kill, so to speak. Buddhist monks and nuns would be falling off their benches." The first time I read those words, at first I smiled. I read them again and I laughed. I laughed because it's true. It's true. And there's freedom in that knowing. There's liberation in that understanding. So let me ask, in your life, how much do you appreciate predictability? What about stability? Certainty? You like certainty? I like all those things. I love all those things. Predictability, certainty, stability. Because life is great when we have those things. But what do we say the nature of life is? What's the nature of life? Change. There's a disconnect there. There's a huge disconnect there. I want predictability. I want stability. I don't want anything to change. Ever. And the nature of life, I'm alive, is change. There's a term, a psychological term that describes this condition. It's called cognitive dissonance. I loved it when I first learned that term in college. Cognitive dissonance. Mental inharmony. Have you ever been there? Little mental inharmony? You want this, but you get that. You're sitting at the table of life. Excuse me, universe? I didn't ask for this dish. I asked for that one. Yeah, please, I want that one. Please take this one away. Ever been at that table? I've eaten there more than once. And I keep coming back for more.
And you get carry out.
And sometimes you get carry out. It's so true. And we don't have to keep going back there. We don't have to carry it out. We do not have to. It may be true that I've done it a lot before. I can do it less and less. I have the ability, you have the ability to stop. It is within our power. Don't doubt it. In her book, Living Beautifully with Uncertainty and Change, the contemporary, and I say that because she's still quite alive, the contemporary American Buddhist nun, Pema Chodron, says of this, what a predicament. We seem doomed to suffer simply because we have a deep-seated fear of how things really are. A deep-seated fear of how things really are. We seek certainty, we seek stability, we seek pleasure And all the while, we live on a planet with other species and other people, all of which and all of whom are in a constant state of change. Everything's in flux. The ground is always moving. Even when there's not an earthquake in San Francisco or elsewhere, the ground upon which we stand in the manifest realm is always moving. And the sense of that incongruity, that ambiguity causes suffering for whom? Us, if we go there. Or should I say, yeah, I want to say if we go there. The Buddha called impermanence one of the three distinguishing marks of existence, an incontrovertible fact. But we seem to strongly disagree with that reality. Our thinking goes something like this. If I just did this, or only didn't do that, then I would have everything under control. And just figure out the formula, and I'll have it nailed down. There are some in Unity, in Centers for Spiritual Living, in the New Thought movement, and we're sisters or brothers and sisters in the New Thought movement, who believe that what we teach will give them control over their lives. Many years ago, a woman came to me and said, I've been tithing for months now, and my husband still hasn't gotten the job he wanted. What we are about here, what we always have been about, what we always will be about here, is the inner life. The inner life. If you could live wholeheartedly in the face of uncertainty and change, if you could develop a greater tolerance for impermanence and uncertainty, would you? Would you? In the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, there are 3 vows, also called the 3 commitments, that, when practiced, allow us to move into a continuous development of comfort with life as it comes. All of it. All of it, without exception. The 3 vows, the 3 commitments, the first is called the Pratamaksha vow. And that vow is to not cause harm to the best of our ability with our thoughts, our words, our actions. And we're going to look at that vow today. And in the coming weeks, we'll look at the other 2 vows, commitments. The second is the Bodhisattva vow. The Bodhisattva vow is the vow that we will take care of one another. And the Samaya vow, the third, is a vow, a commitment to embrace the world as it is without bias. I love those last 2 words. Without bias. Yeah, I'll hold you, but I'm still not sure I'm going to accept you. And the righteous, and I'm using that term commonly, the righteous, maybe sometimes when we're feeling just righteous humanly, maybe we do that. Without bias. the 8th century master Shantideva wrote these words. They're in your bulletin and mine. That we could read together. It's the first quote. It's the third quote down that begins with all. Would you join me? All that I possess and use is like the fleeting vision of a dream. It fades into the realms of memory, and fading will be seen no more. Now let us pause. Let us pause and allow that to move in you. And now, we will read it again, slowly, thoughtfully. All that I possess and use is like the fleeting vision of a dream.